Throwback Thursday, and as always in this show, we're going back to the 80s. And as promised in my last episode, today we're going to be revisiting Thundercats. But first, I gotta tell y'all just what an unexpectedly 80s kind of day I had yesterday. Started off with me going on Hulu and watching the previous night's episode of The Goldbergs, which I was pleased to see days after I first mentioned Fraggle Rock in this show. They too did in their show. And later that night, after the 80s kind of wife and I were done running all our errands, I got a little bored and watched some reruns of How I Met Your Mother, a show I don't really watch all that much, but I watched some last night, and one episode surprised me. It was about Barney's bachelor party, and they brought in the Karate Kid, and you know, his character believes that that's not the real Karate Kid. The real Karate Kid is the villain in the movie, and there's this whole brilliant plot. It would have been a great episode by itself until the end. All this hijinks with this bachelor party. It's like a prank bachelor party that he doesn't know about, and there's a clown is his entertainment, this non-talking clown that does all this stupid stuff, and all this crap goes on, and then, fuck a spoiler alert, it's a rerun. If I just now saw it, your ass should have been seen it by now. At the end of the episode, they're like, oh yeah, we got you, ha 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 ha, and he's looking at this previous list that he made for his bachelor party, and he's like, wow, you got everything on the list. Well, everything except the real Karate Kid, and that's when the clown starts talking. He wipes the paint off his face and takes off his wig and unveils the Cobra Kai outfit. It's Johnny from motherfucking Cobra Kai. Oh my god. That Goldbergs episode and that How I Met Your Mother episode, I watched each of those 3 times yesterday. And before the 80s kind of wife and I went and got our groceries, first we went to a restaurant, more on that later, but then she wanted to stop off at this kind of girly place called Trader's. I didn't expect to really find anything there that interested me, but I did. One, which I didn't buy, but I have a picture of me with it, is a famous book published in 1985. And that book told the future, my friends. You could apply that to today. Instead of calling it If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, you could call it If You Give Al Gore a Recount. If you give a homosexual gay marriage right, grrr, Eye of the Tiger. Or more appropriately, if you give an Obama voter anything. But here's another gem I found. For only $3. Oh my god. Andy Kaufman, who I am a huge, huge fan of. World Intergender Wrestling Champion, and I'm a huge wrestling fan as well. If you've been watching this show, you know that. Oh my god. It says here it started in November 1979, the first woman he wrestled. But, of course, that means most of the matches were in the 80s. So to me, this is all 80s, and it's Andy Kaufman, and it's wrestling. But what was even more exciting to me, now I'm sure most of you remember from my 10th video when I proclaimed, no more Ghosts and Goblins! Well, I meant that on the home consoles. One thing I had never done in my life as far as Ghosts and Goblins is concerned is play it on an arcade. And we went to this little restaurant. They had one arcade machine. This one, however, was called the Ultracade. It had a variety of different games, to including not Super Mario Brothers, but the original Mario Brothers. And then the 80s kind of wife, when she went and played some games on the machine, she pointed out to me that it had Ghosts and Goblins. And my god, for the first time ever, I just had to experience this. Okay, I had to get the buttons down. This is awesome. I've never played on the arcade before all these years. Not this game. Crap. I'm not going to be able to beat this guy. Maybe I am. Uh-oh.
Oh, are they ghosts?
Yeah.
Like that?
Oh, shoot. I got skills.
I guess.
I got game. Oh, did I hit a checkpoint at least? Yep. But, what's that? No dagger! Oh, hell yeah!
Ooh, what the heck is that?
It's the first boss.
Just get firing.
Yeah.
You know.
I gotta start back. No. Screw it, at least I have the dagger now. No, I don't want that damn flame. I got the dagger. Fuck off. Who said that? What the hell was I doing?
No, you don't have it. Oh, you still have it?
That's in my undies. Stop. I gotta fight this guy. Go away. Dickwad.
Keep firing, baby. Keep firing. Until he showed up. Distance. Keep firing, keep firing. Distance, distance. Yeah!
Well, I guess it's time for today's main attraction. Revisiting Thundercats, as promised. Now, the reason why I wanted to take another look at this before I did a battle between the original Thundercats and the 2010 Thundercats, which, as is usually the case, the 80s won handily. But I recently just started watching this DVD, which I've had in my possession for some time now, and you might have noticed in my last episode I grimaced when I mentioned it. The reason behind that is, well, when I watched the third episode, I don't know if you can see that, it's titled Berbils. Now, I was around in the 80s, and I was watching cartoons in the 80s, namely Thundercats. And Lord knows, to this day, I've been collecting 80s toys. Most of them I had as a child are gone, but I mean, I'm still very, very familiar with toys from the 80s, and I'd never heard of a fucking Burble. You see that? What the fuck is that? Berbils or Robo Bears or whatever the fuck they're called? They were in the third episode. At that point, they had more airtime than Mumra did. I mean, the Berbils seem like, you know, some characters you'd bring in the show's later years, you know, when it's kind of losing some of its steam, so you bring in some new blood, you know, to kind of breathe some new life into it, the show. And but in the third episode, I mean, if I had known this, maybe, just maybe the new Thundercats might have had the edge over the old Thundercats. Oh my god, they're in the new Thundercats also? Are they seriously that fucking important to the franchise? And who the hell is this? Is that supposed to be Panthro? Looks more like a child molester. I mean, look how traumatized that poor little Burble is.
Yes, I'll take this teddy bear.
My god, look at this. And again, just like I said in my second episode, why is Chitara so fucking mangy looking? She's supposed to look like this. See, there you go, with the big 80s hair. Yeah! They made Burble action figures? What the fuck? Huh, you said it. No more Berbils. No more Berbils. No more Berbils. Okay, I get it, okay? Thundercats is trying to prove a point. In my very first video, I compared He-Man to Star Wars, but, okay, Thundercats is Star Wars. They're from space, and they had tractor beams, and it was like the Star Wars A New Hope when the enemies invaded, you know, boarded the good guy's ship and invaded it, even though it was kind of funny that you have all this space technology, yet when the enemies invade the ship, they, you know, they still have primitive weapons. But that's okay, it's a kid's show, the plot isn't supposed to be that great. It was still an awesome show from what I remember, but that's because I don't remember Berbils. Okay, and I get it, the older Thundercat died, and now he's back in spirit. He's like a Obi-Wan Kenobi, and now they're trying to drive the point home. Okay, I get it, I get it. The Thundercats live on a futuristic planet of Endor where the Ewoks god C-3PO planted his seed in a lot of the natives, and that's where these fucking robo-bastards come from. Just stop it, okay? I get it. Leave me alone. Okay, I found my happy place, taking a deep breath, and I guess we're running out of time for this episode. This is the part of the show where the 90s kind of guy insists that I give you a big hint as to what's coming up next. And I suppose I can do that. First of all, I'll straight out tell you one thing. We're going to take a slightly deeper look into my band episodes, touch on that just a little bit, and well, you want a hint for what the main topic is going to be. I'm going back to the 80s versus other decade battles. And let's see, hint. What we're going to do is take a very famous movie franchise that began in the 80s, continued in the 90s, carried on into the 2000s, and even had a fucking TV show. I'm not going to tell you exactly what that is, but I guarantee you one thing. It ain't about Berbils.